Okay, so one day we talked about types of market failures. Then today's the first type is how to do with them, how to manage, how to remove market failures. Basically, there are three different approaches. One is Pigouvian approach, Arthur Pigou. Sometimes we say Pigouvian taxes, Pigou, Arthur Pigou. Just for your reference, we transform a noun into adjective. When the word ends with a U sound, Pigou, we attach D, Pigouvian. Just for your reference, so useful to know. Pigou ends with an U sound, right? So when you transform it to adjective, you attach D, Pigouvian. For example, Peru. Peru ends with an U sound, right? Then Peruvian. So American. Peruvian, not Peruvian or Peruan, anything like that. For your reference, useful to know. Anyway, that's English. Okay, even if this is not English course. So Pigouvian tax. Even if he sounds like an Italian, he's not an Italian, he's an English, Pigouvian approach. And this is direct, this is indirect control through the market mechanism. Sometimes we say in the price mechanism. Indirect control through the market mechanism or price mechanism. This is direct activity control, indirect control, direct control. This Gaussian approach is kind of appendix to this chapter, but anyway, useful to know. So it's this one. Two different approaches. This is the case of negative externality, positive externality. What we learned from what we found out from the previous discussion is that negative externality, is it oversupplied or undersupplied? Oversupplied, right? From the government perspective, does the government need to discourage or encourage negative externality? Discourage, right? So penalty is discouraging. So from the discussion of the previous last week, we understood that when government levy a tax is discourages, encourages market activity. Discourages, right? When government levies a tax, quantity is decreased. You find that out. So levying a tax is a way of discouraging market activities. Oh, there we go. This is easy. Okay. So leave the market alone. So cost to the firm only, but the actual cost to the society. This is right. Remember, this is what was this? Negative externality, pollution. Okay, harms coming from the pollution. That's actually cost to the society. So, from the society perspective, the society should account for this according to this line, not this line. This is negative externality to the society. Negative externality means additional cost to the society. It is not accounted for by the firm, right? But society perspective, this additional cost should be accounted for as well. Is that clear to your idea? So without accounting for this, the distant represent negative externality. Distant represent. This is negative externality. Okay. This should be accounted for, but in practically it isn't accounted for. You know the difference? So how can the government force the firm to account for this? It's very easy. Pollution tax. This is additional cost, right? So this is just very similar to the case of the effect of a tax. The case of tax, this was normal, right? In case of the tax, this was normal. Government attached additional tax here. Here, this is practical. This is practically what really happens actually happens in the real is this. But this is what should be. It's clear. The government comes in. Okay, comes in. Simply now government announces, oh, for my dear firms, from this time on, you have to pay a tax, this much tax on your activity. Is that clear? Is that this situation clear? Okay. Then this shifts here. Before the correction tax, this was the firm's MPC. Now this becomes new MPC to the firm. Jian, are you with me? Are you sure? Are you awake right now? Okay, so understandable to everybody. Okay, we go forward. So before the Pigouvian tax, new tax, market equilibrium was here, right? Now with Pigouvian tax, consumption is discouraged to here, Q0. Q0 is the point where the society should be. Is it clear? Then now we are in the right equilibrium, as it were. Okay. Is that clear? Now we are at the right point. So what's the difference? Previously, we were, what point were we? We were here, wrong point, overproduction, oversupply point, right? So from the accounting all the cost, okay, to taking every cost into account, you should be here, but we was here, we were here, right? So from the society perspective, this was loss to the society from oversupply. Now we came back to here, right? We have come back to here because previously we were here. Now we return to the right position, right? Is that clear to you? Okay. So from the society, whole society perspective, as I recommended to you, you check out the benefit or cost of benefit of the whole society first. And then think distribution of surplus between three different parties. That's a secondary concern. So focusing on from the whole society's surplus, that's a clear cut, right? Previously, remember, previously without tax system, this was market equilibrium, right? So from whole society's surplus calculation, from the whole society's surplus, as we understood, this is the right thing, okay, right supply from the society's perspective. It should be supply curve from the society's perspective. Should be supply curve means the supply curve after taking everything, each and every cost into account. That's the right supply curve, right? And as we did Monday, from the society perspective, this is the cost curve, this is the benefit curve, right? So, but if we were here, this is total surplus, right? But simply because we extended our production beyond the equilibrium, this represents what? Net loss to the society, negative surplus to the society, right? Now, by levying the emission tax or negative externality tax, the society has moved back to here, right? And this has been removed. So now we have achieved, the society has achieved the optimum condition. The optimum is the keyword, right? Optimum means most efficient resource allocation. Okay, now we have come back to here. Is it clear? So if you are interested, the loss, gain and loss to each individual, no, not each individual constituencies. There are three constituencies in the society, right? Firms, households, and the government. Here, firms, suppliers or producers. We say in this case we say producers, right? Three constituencies in the society. In this case we say producers and consumers and the government, right? So the calculation is different. Okay, now from the each constituency's perspective, gain and loss is different. Plus and minus is different. You can check that out very easily. How can you do that? That's very easy. Previously means before Pigovian tax. What is the producer supply? One more time. Okay, let me clarify the whole story. The structure first, big picture first. We are going to check the surplus. Number one, from the whole society's perspective. That's what we should do as the first step. Okay? The primary concern, that's what I call primary concern. Okay? To check out the outcome from the whole society's perspective. That's the first thing we have to do. Secondly, we may be interested in finding out plus and minus, gain and loss from each constituency's perspective. That's a secondary concern. Because anyway, producers are us, right? Don't forget that. Producers are us, not our enemies, not they, not them. Government are us. Government is us, not they. Because anything the government does is only for us, right? Benefits, losses, costs, and benefits, that falls on us. Because government doesn't create any money. And the government doesn't consume anything. If anything, the government consumes, that's for the people, us. Okay? Is that clear to you? Producers are us. Consumers are us. Government is us. Is that clear to you? Because, one more time, who owns the stocks of Samsung Electronics? Shareholders. Who are shareholders? You, people like you and me, your mom and dad and me. You are not old enough to own stocks of Samsung Electronics. I know that, but you will be owners soon. You will soon you will become owner of Samsung Electronics. You will become part of the producers. Okay, sooner than later. Maybe even now, I believe some of you own stocks of some firms in Korea, some producers. In that sense, you are the producer, not just the consumer, right? Mingyang, do you understand what I'm saying? Do you agree with me? So producers are us. The government is us, not they. So in that sense, the distribution of the surplus between constituencies should be okay, maybe. Okay, is the secondary concern to everyone. So, once again, surplus. You check the total surplus. Surplus means net benefit to the society, net benefit to the constituency. So, you check surplus from the whole society's point of view first. Secondly, you may be interested in finding out gains and losses from individual constituencies perspective. Okay, so now work this out one more time. Okay, from the actual cost, from taking all the costs into consideration, okay. Previously, production was, this is the actual, the right supply curve. Once again, one more time, supply curve represents some type of cost. marginal production cost. In this case, this is marginal utility. Okay, demand curve represents some type of benefit, marginal benefit, while supply curve represents some type of marginal cost. And this case, marginal production cost. And this is true supply curve. True means reflecting all the cost to the society, accounted for or not accounted for. Okay, so this is true. Okay, true marginal production cost line. So, and this is of course true demand curve. Then if equilibrium is Q0, we have oversupply or overconsumption, okay, over demand. Then this is negative territory. Okay. So from the society's perspective, this is more than desirable. Okay, more than desirable. So push it back here. Then from the whole society's perspective, previously this positive surplus, this negative surplus, right? And this has been removed. So society benefits from the system. But from individual constituencies' perspective, calculation is different. Okay? Previously, what is the producer surplus? What is the producer surplus? This was producer surplus, right? Now the producer surplus is, how much is the producer? So, what is the producer surplus? This is producer surplus, I think. Is it? Right. And then consumer surplus, producer surplus decreases while consumer surplus increases, right? Let's check this out. Oh, I was wrong. I was wrong. Okay. After the Pigouvian tax, what is the producer surplus? Here, okay, which triangle? Okay, there is a triangle which represents the producer surplus. So this is triangle, right? Before Pigouvian tax, this triangle represented producer surplus, right? Okay. Now after the Pigouvian tax, there is a particular triangle which represents the new producer surplus. Which is it? 원칙. Which represents the new. Okay. Which diagram represents the new producer surplus? This one, right? This little one. This, no, not this. No, which one? No, this one. Okay. This new triangle represents. Okay. This is producer surplus. Is this clear? Why that is? Supply is here, right? Supply is here. Okay. This is the area below. This is their total cost, right? And then per unit revenue is this one, right? Why this is? What is this? This is tax. What is this? Price to. Did you say you said consumers, right? No, demanders. Okay. Price to demanders. This is price to producers. No, suppliers. We say, okay, using the same notation. Is this clear to you? New equilibrium, the new market equilibrium. Okay, this is the price to suppliers. This is price to demanders. Or this is price to producers. This is price to consumers, right? The gap is taken by who? The government, right? In this case, the bad guy. The government does something for you, good guy. Jiyeon, do you love tax? Do you hate tax? Do you give me an answer? Do you like or do you not like tax? You like tax? Okay, she doesn't like tax. So the government, in this case, government, the bad guy. So is this clear? The tax gap is taken by the bad guy, according to Jiyeon, not according to me. Jiyeon called the government the tax collector bad guy. Didn't you? You did, right? Is that clear? Someone, is this picture clear to you? Not quite clear? Sangchul, is this clear to you? Okay, let me draw one more time. Okay, before the Piguvian tax situation was this. This was user demand curve. This is user supply curve. This supply curve is from the firm's supplier's perspective, not the society's perspective. Okay? So as we understand, this will be what? Market equilibrium, P0, Q0. Market equilibrium is market trading will take place at this point, this much, at this price. And good, this is clear to you, right? Okay. TJ, this is clear to you, understand that? Even TJ understands that. So, okay. From individual constituents' perspective, what is this? Producers surplus. Because producers get this much money, and this, as always, this rectangle represent total revenue to firms collectively, right? Okay, and this represents what? Marginal production, this line, demand line, production cost, right? The area below this represent total production cost, okay? The difference is surplus, right? Net benefit to, so that's what you call producer surplus, right? And what do you call this? Consumer surplus. That's very easy. But there is something forgotten, which is, okay, additional cost on the innocent bystanders, which we call negative externality. Okay, is that clear? So we should, from the whole society's perspective, the name forgotten, you have to recover it, right? By definition, when you say forgotten, you should have done that, right? I forgot to do something. You should have done that. So it's a forgotten cost. You should take it into account. That's the definition of forgetting, right? Forgetting something, right? As long as we call it forget, I forgot. You should have done that, right? Jiyeon, you agree with me? So you should have, we have forgotten negative externality. Means you should take it into account. Okay, so we should take this account. This is S to the society, S to the firm. This is wrong supply curve. This is right supply curve. This is true supply curve. Okay. Then if we take everything into account, okay, the trade should have been where? Here I say should have been. Here, just should have been. Taking everything into account, should have been here. This is should have been, okay, should be. Okay, this is. Now what do we have? Oversupply, overproduction, undersupply, underproduction. Oversupply. So oversupply means overproduction, overconsumption. You consumed too much, excessively. Okay? So, too means you did something wrong. We did something wrong. Okay? How much? So this should have been. This is true. Okay, true. The right consumer surplus is this, and the true producer surplus is this. So we consumers overly enjoyed. Okay, overly, and producers have gotten too much surplus, which is wrong, right? Overconsumption, excessive, too much is all wrong, right? That's by definition of too much or too excessive, overconsumption, oversupply, right? Okay. Then that is okay. Then comparing this and that from the whole society perspective, this is there. Okay. To produce this much, okay. So the whole society, okay, paid this much, right? The whole society consumed this much. Benefit whole society has benefited this much. Now this is negative territory, right? Okay. Is that clear? Once again, I think, let me start over because I myself violated my rule. My rule is that to check out society's benefit first, and then figure out gain and loss, plus and minus from the individual constituents' perspective. I violated my rule myself. Okay, that's very easy now. This is much easier. This story is much easier. Demand, supply. Okay. Demand, supply. Then, from the whole society's perspective, what is the surplus? This is, right? Okay, on the surface, this seems to be, that's very easy because from whole society's perspective, okay, what is this? This is benefit to the society, right? From the whole society's perspective, this is benefit to the society, right? Okay. What is this? Cost to the society. The difference is very easy. Surplus to the society. Much easier, right? Yeah, much easier. You are much more comfortable, right? What is this? Surplus. Societal surplus, right? It's very easy. Okay? But so far so good. But the trouble is we have forgotten something. What is it? Negative externality. See? This is negative externality. So, reflecting negative externality, this becomes what? True. Supply curve, as let's say true. This is false. Is that seemingly, okay, at the first moment you understood, you actually misunderstood. This was societal surplus. You are wrong because you have forgotten this through this story. Okay, so let's get back to the right decisions here. Okay, momentarily, let's forget about. Okay, this is as true. Previously, this was as false. False means without accounting for negative externality. That's false, right? So then because we have forgotten zero, this is Q star, the Q star. So as we understand, Q star is the right equilibrium. Okay, should be equilibrium. While Q0 is equilibrium. What happens in the real world? Okay, something wrong with this one. Okay, so this is true, should be. Then do we have, as we all understood, we have oversupply, overproduction, overconsumption, overdemand. Okay. Then taking everything into account, we are here. Okay, we are here. Then let's check out societal surplus. Okay, so we are here. What is the total production cost to the society? We are here. Okay? Total production cost to the society. As always, this trapezoid represent total cost to the society, right? Okay. What does this represent? Total benefit, total utility of the society, right? Is that clear? This is total utility because production and consumption is here. Market equilibrium means, one more time, market equilibrium means the point where supply equals to demand, right? So our overarching assumption is that demand is same as consumption. Supply is the same as production. Production is the same as sales quantity. Demand is the same as consumption quantity. That's our overarching assumption in all economic theories. We say demand means we have our demand was this much, means consumers have bought this much, and means at the same period consumer have consumed this much. So we say consumed, okay? Consumer, demander, quantity demand is the same as quantity consumed. That's our assumption, okay? Because our assumption is that makes sense because would you produce anything any more than you sell? You wouldn't. Okay? In a particular accounting period, would you buy anything more than you consume? No, you wouldn't do that. If you do that, of course you can do that. If you would like to be called irrational. Oh, I didn't say it. Okay. So rational people wouldn't do that. So make it clear one more time. In economic theories, demand is the same as consumption. Okay. Supply is the same as quantity supplied is the same as quantity produced because no firm would like to produce anything more than it can sell. Okay? No consumer would buy anything more than she can consume. Someone, are you with me? So, getting back to here. Anyway, okay, because of false consideration, false accounting, market equilibrium is here. Okay, then reflecting all the cost. Market trade is here. Market trade is here means production is here, consumption is here. Okay, so up to this point, this represents this trapezoid represent what? Total benefit to the society. Okay? Likewise, this is production through. Okay? This represents what? Total production cost. Then the problem is everything is good, but this area represents which is bigger? Cost is bigger, right? So this means surplus to the society. This represents deficit to the society, right? Okay, so are we better off with or without deficit? Without deficit, you will be better off, right? Let's do that. Very simply. So, by levying tax, so we did this. Previously, this was here. Now, because the first one, to correct it, government levies tax. This is, let's say, pollution tax. Okay? Pollution tax. Then, automatically, just like any other tax, government tax, consumption tax discourages market trade, market activity. So pushes back here to here. Here, this represents what? True cost anyway. True cost to the society. True means true cost to the whole society, not from anyone's perspective. And this is same as remains the same thing. True true benefit, marginal benefit to the society. One more time. This is true marginal cost to the society. This is true as always, as from the beginning, as before. Just this is true benefit to the society. Then this everything else is very easy, right? What is this? True benefit to the society, total benefit. This area represent true total cost to the society, and this is true, true surplus to the society. Everybody is happy. Not quite yet, because some people will grumble because producers' surplus decreases while consumer surplus decreases, increases, decreases. It depends. But the happiest guy, only happiest guy is who? Government, because government collects the taxes. So the accounting of each constituencies. Okay, shall we not? Let's not do this. It's confusing you. Maybe confusing you. So if you are further interested in cost and benefit of individual constituencies, you can do that relatively easily. Okay. How can you do that? Keep this in mind. You can do that very easily. Okay. Because actually, basically, we did that. When we play with taxes, we did that actually. So only clue to you right now is that, so this is the market equilibrium, right? What price do consumers pay here? This is the price consumer pay, right? As demand, as according to our notation. Price to the demanders, consumers. This is the price, right? What is this? This is tax. This is tax. What is this price? To suppliers, right? Then you can calculate gains and losses from the thing. The easiest one is then this is government benefit, right? Government surplus. Government surplus. Because government simply doing nothing, government collects tax revenues, right? Tax revenue, this is tax rate. What is the tax base? I explained this, right? Tax base and tax revenue. Tax base multiplied with tax is total tax revenue, government tax revenue. Okay, pretty much same story. This is easy. This is easy. Benefit is there. Take the research and development, for example, in this case. So, as always, only reason why firms invest in research and development is benefit from it. So you may call that marginal product of research. Yeah. This is it. So as always, this is one more time. Okay, you invest in research and development. Let's simply research. Okay, just cut development off. You invest in research. Why do you do that? Expectation of benefit, right? What benefit? So we call product of research. Marginal product of research means it's contribution to increase in productivity. That's what I call, okay? Marginal product of research. You do that. You benefit. Then likewise, anything, whatever you do, you have to pay some cost, right? Remember, nothing comes for free, right? Even your maternal love doesn't come for free, does it? Does your maternal love come for free, TJ? It doesn't. What do you think, Edgar? Does your paternal love come for free? I don't think so. You have to pay some cost, right? Behaving yourself is painful. Pleasant? Maybe Yoongyun feels pleased behaving herself, right? Studying is enjoyable, right? Painful, enjoyable. Enjoyable. So here again, just simply let's assume marginal cost and marginal benefit. Demand represents some type of marginal benefit. This represents some type of cost. Then this, in this case, the difference, the mirror image of this is there is additional benefit which is not explicitly accounted for. So simply put, you discover Newtonian gravity theory. To do that, you pay. You means firm, your firm. And there is somebody else who can utilize Newtonian gravity theory. The whole world or the society can utilize on that. You make a new discovery. If you can patent, you can monopolize the benefit. But certainly there are some theories which are not patentable. You cannot get the patent for a particular. There are some technologies are patentable, but others are not. Is that clear to you? So this is unpatentable technologies, as it were. So the case you can enjoy from the news discovery. Somebody else will do too. Is that clear? So in this case, that's very simple. Here is what is equilibrium is. Okay, the present equilibrium Q is 0, but this should be. Okay, this is equilibrium. This is should be equilibrium. If you take everything into account, here is right. So what do we have right now? Oversupply or undersupply? Undersupply. Okay, that's very easy. Now, government gives subsidies. This is subsidy. Now, government is the good guy, because government is going to give you some extra money as a subsidy. Okay, so this is government as a good guy. This is Robin Hood. Government as a Robin Hood. This is government, the bad guy, collector, tax collector. The other, everything else is the repetition of the same mirror image of this one. So that's your job, because time is limited. Okay, now second approach is that this is the second approach, direct activity control. So government is going to assign activity control. So for example, this one, simply here, government announces now, come here, this is supply, demand, and this is, so this is true. Let's attach a star. S is accounted for, marginal production cost accounted for by firms. Then this is including negative externality to the society. So this is true. This is supply curve. This is should be supply curve. Then the easy way is that if government has full information regarding this, simply government comes in. This is your production cost, quota. You cannot produce any more than this. Announce it simply. Q star. This is as quota. We call quota, production quota. Government simply assigns a production quota. This is it. You cannot produce any more than this. Is it clear? It seems to be very simple, but this is much inefficient than this one. I'll come back to this in second hour, but as for now, let's finish it, this board. I'll come back to this point only in the second hour. Okay, but as for now, seemingly, okay, oh no, this is figure actually. Figure 4 is this one. Okay, this one by the government induces through price mechanism, so that firms produce this decreases in activity right here. But this is government forces. This incentivizes. Government incentivizes. This is government forces. Different story. This incentive through the market price mechanism. Sometimes we use the verb incentivize. I incentivize you. I induce you to do something. That has become an English word recently. Incentivize. Okay, government incentivizes, offer incentives to the firms. That's incentivizes. Is say government incentivizes. This is government forces. Before discussing anything, which would you prefer? Incentivizes, forces. You are free girl, right? Free boy. Are you? Is there anyone? There's no slavery, right? Ultra. Are you free? Which would you prefer? Something forced upon you. You voluntarily do something. Which would you prefer? Voluntarily, right? So is that clear? This is incentivizes. You have room to. You don't need to follow it if you don't like it. But in this case, you have to do that. Yeah? Or this one. Okay. Seemingly, the effect seems to be the same. Why the same? Here, if government has full information, government knows that this is the right quantity, and government announces, "Oh, my dear firms, collectively, you discuss among yourselves, and then to decide to divide this quota among yourselves, okay, among the firm." The government announces. My concern is that collectively, all the firms together cannot produce any more than this. Same place here. Is it clear? One problem right here is that government has to have the full information regarding this. What is the right quantity? Is it clear? This is easy. It's not easy to have all the full information. Not easy from the government. That's one problem with this. The second problem, I'll come back to this. Okay, this one, page 2 or 3. I'll come back to this in the second hour today. And finally, Ronald Coase. Okay, Ronald Coase, who earned Nobel Economics Prize 1979 or sometime around that time. Who passed away exactly a month ago. 2nd of September, exactly a month ago, at the age of, guess what? What was his age? Make a guess. 102. 102. Ronald Coase passed away at the age of 102. Exactly a month ago, September 2nd, he passed away. His death was reported in all American newspapers because he was such a celebrity. So his theory is no graphs at all. But maybe at first moment, I want you to carefully read the story about Ronald Coase here in the textbook. It's at the first moment maybe somewhat difficult to understand what is implied in this equation. But as you keep reading it, you can understand his story. Is that according to him, government doesn't need to intervene in the marketplace to these negative externalities. Instead of intervention, any one of them, these are there. Of the three, this is the best choice, of course. This is second best, and this is the worst choice. Okay. Why this is the worst choice, I'll come back to the second hour today. But as for now, this is the best choice. Because you don't need government intervention in the first place. If you this, the only thing is that government has to clarify who has the property right. This is not easy either, but as long as the government clearly define property rights to everybody in the world, you don't need to worry about negative externality. Market on its own, it will solve all the problem, negative externality problems. Okay, great message from here. But this message is not so widely known to students, economists. But maybe I am very much interested in this solution. One more time, government clearly defines, okay, the property right, the right to something, okay, some useful things. The government doesn't need to intervene either way, in this way. So the job is, government's first job is the property right. So property right is so much important. You know? So he, okay, pointed that out very, very clearly. How important property right is to free market economy. Okay? So we don't have time to explain this, discuss this in detail. Then he suggests, Mankiw suggests second market-based solution is that cap and trade is that. Before that, he briefly explains the case of cap only. Cap is cap, ceiling. Here, cap and trade is cap, ceiling. Ceiling of production is sometimes we call quota. Ceiling of production, that's what we call cap. Cap is you have a cap. You cannot go. So now Mingi, old aged Mingi, old Mingi has a cap. That's a cap, right? Cap is that you cannot go above this cap. Something pushes you down below. That's a cap. Cap is the same as ceiling. Exactly same thing. Ceiling is the same. This cap means ceiling. Cap and trade. Cap is ceiling. Ceiling. Same thing as quota. Then quota, two cases. One is case number one is that without quota. With quota is figure 4 represent figure with quota. Cap and trade. This is cap only. This is cap and trade. You can trade quota in the marketplace. So quota plus market trade. So he explains the case cap and trade, quota plus trade, market trade. But effect is, according to him, the same thing. But in terms of efficiency, effect is the same, but in terms of efficiency, they are different. Anyway, before that, you have to understand this is the case. Page 2 or 3, he explains the case of cap, a cap without a quota. A cap without a trade. Okay. Difference is that cap or quota, once quota is assigned firm by firm. Okay. I assign certain quota to Kyunghwa and company, Mingye and company, and Yedin and company, Zhengha and company, Minbo and company. I assign the thing. From time to time, Kyunghwa and company may have unused quota. You can sell it to somebody else. Quota means right to pollute or right to produce. Okay? If you have unused quota, you can sell it to somebody else. That's a trade, cap and trade. So if you combine cap and trade, it's pretty much the same. Outcome is pretty much the same as Pigubian tax. But there are a lot of administrative problems and costs. That's a second story anyway. But before that, let's think about the cap only. Cap only. Okay. So right now, let's take the pollution quota, for example. Okay. So from polluting, what benefit can you get? There is a reason why you pollute, so you emit pollution gases. Why do you do that? To have some benefit, right? So you may call that marginal product of emission. Likewise, right? The only reason why you emit something is that you can expect some benefits, right? Is that clear to you? So now you are comfortable with the concept of marginal product of emission. Likewise, right? As the first hour today, we discussed marginal benefit of research, right? The only reason why you sink big money on research and development is that you expect something, some new discovery, right? Likewise, the only reason why you emit something is what? To get benefits, right? Otherwise, you wouldn't do that, would you? You wouldn't do that, right? So you may define marginal product of emit. By emitting something, producing CO2, you expect produce something, right? That's the real reason why you emit something, right? Because of this, you can imagine this story. And then, in my economy is so tiny. There are only two firms: Kyunghwa and Company and Mingyang and MG and KH and Company and MG and Company, two companies. now I am going to restrain total pollution quantity to 2Q0. Q0, okay. So that's maximum allowable emission quantity to keep, to sustain the present world economy. So the sustainable development, right? That's what I call sustainable development. To make the development sustainable, I have to limit emission quantity to QQ0. Okay, how shall I distribute the emission right, pollution right to two of the two companies? To be fair, Q0, Q0, right? That's the first answer, right? Most people will come up with, right? So I have maximum 2 Q0. How would I assign the rights to two of them? To be fair, Q0, Q0, right? Okay. Who's more productive? Which firm is more? Okay, this is KH and Company. Okay, the firm. This is MG and Company. Okay. Then to be fair, I have to assign same quota right here, Q0, Q0. Then this is marginal product of emission, KH and Company. This is the marginal product of emission, MG and Company. Which firm is more productive? Which firm creates higher value from production? Production is emission. Emission is followed. No, production is followed by, accompanied by emission, right? Emission is the same as production. So which company is more productive from this? MG is absolutely, MG and Company is more productive. TJ, can you recognize MG is, okay. Someone? To be honest with you, do you understand what I mean? Are you sure? Remember, this is Q0 here. This is same Q0. I ask the government to assign same quota to, same cap to each of the two firms. Okay, here, everything here, this marginal productivity is KH and firm is here, right? But MG and firm is here. This is more productive. Remember, this is value. Or value things, okay? As I said, in the two-dimensional coordinate system, x-axis represents quantity, y-axis represents some type of value, cost or revenue, or all value is here, from here. So is that clear to you? Q0 marginal product of emission, production good thing. Remember, this is some type of marginal benefit, right? MPU. Benefit, good thing to you. Which benefit is bigger? Whose benefit is bigger? This one? It's bigger, right? So if I assign, okay, quota equally, then she has to stop at the point where she is much more productive than she is, right? Is that clear? Clear? So from this, the other alternative is that I assign. I have all the information with me. So I know that MG and Company is productive than KH and Company. So who would I give more quota, emission, bigger quota? MG and Company, right? Is that clear? So intuitively, she is productive, more productive than Kyunghwa. I would give bigger quota to her. That's you are intuitively, you are 100% right in that sense. Why, Daddy? Remember? So I squeeze to here. Here. Previously, it's the same. Q0 is the same story. I expand quota to Mingyong while squeezing quota to KH so as to make same story. Q1 plus Q2 equal 2Q0. Effect is the same story, right? So I abided by the strict rule that total emission should not bigger than 2Q0, right? But this is it. Is that clear to you? I give additional quota to Mingyong while reducing quota to Gyeonghwa. So that two of them are exactly the same story. By doing this, does the society benefit or lose? Okay. Benefit, absolutely. By squeezing at heat pump, what do you lose? This much, we lose this much, right? We lose this much squeezing this. By extending here, how much do we get? We are here, actually. This is the same story here. Remember? So I extend quota to Mingyong until when reduction of her quota, reducing moving backward, marginal product emission increases, right? In case her case decreases as previously she was here, Mingyong was here, extending. Okay, the magic is that we have, okay, this is the great law of diminishing marginal benefit, right? Both confirms is to decrease in this way, okay? So this decreases here. This is moving backward, increases here, right? So that my point is that I make marginal product of emission to be the same between two confirms, right? That's the optimum. So how can I do I know that? It's very easy. Moving backward, okay, moving backward, she loses this much, right? Gyeonghwa form loses this much, right? But this form loses this much, gains this much. This is bigger. The gain at Mingyong Company and the loss at Gyeonghwa Company, which is bigger? Absolutely, gain is bigger. But remember, one is below this line, the other above this line, right? This is even line, the level line. Is that clear? So this is the right answer. So to do this, I have to full knowledge, right? Full information regarding the performance, which is very difficult to understand. So in general, because of this, more than that, okay, to make things more difficult, her situation keeps changing year after year after year after, right? Same year. Even if the situation is something the same, the following year could be a whole lot different, right? But would it be easy to change my quota to each one? It's almost impossible. Once I assign quota to each company, it's almost in the real world situation, actual world situation, it's almost impossible to change the quota because from individual firms' perspective, that's a life and death matter, right? If I forfeit emission quota, I cannot be in business anymore, right? So I very, very seriously resist to any effort of reduction of my quota, right? Is that clear to everybody? So because of this, once I as the government assign quota to each firm, it's almost impossible to revise, change the system. That's the reality. So because of this, first point is that trade is not okay. Trade, the emission quota is not tradable. Then total loss to the society. That's what we call inefficient. Okay, now make you it's trade. You can trade unused. So in this case, from Gyeonghwa's perspective, she has two choices. One is she has. Let's get back to here. I assign same quota Q0, Gyeonghwa and Mingyong. Then now additional condition is that two of them can trade the right to emit pollution gases. They can trade is there. Okay. The quota is Q0 given to him. Then from Kyunghwa's perspective, she has two choices. One is use the quota herself. Number two, trade the right, sell it the right to image to Mingyang. Which would you do? Which Kyunghwa would do? In this case, sell it. Because remember, the situation is that her own use up to here, her benefit is only this much, right? This much. If you sell it, Kyunghwa is by definition ready to pay this much. Because so this is the nature of competition, right? Kyunghwa is ready to, because Kyunghwa can afford to buy the quota at this higher value, right? Of course, maybe slightly lower than this one, right? Because he has some profit, right? But the extreme case is that. Is that clear to you? Kyunghwa is ready to pay. Kyunghwa doesn't have any more than the Kyunghwa. No. Mingyang doesn't have any right over this one, right? But once she pays this emission quota, she can produce this much, right? So how much would she pay? Can she afford to pay this much, right? So which is bigger? So her own use, Kyunghwa's own use benefit, not this much, okay. This Q0, Q1 here. This should be the same, okay. Should be the same, Q0. The difference should be the same. So Kyunghwa's own use, that benefit. Selling, this is bigger. The second is bigger, right? So leave the market alone. Probably Kyunghwa will sell the emission right to her rather than using it herself. Is that clear? So outcome is the exact same story. So in theory, cap and trade effect is the same as emission tax. In this case, emission tax is of course this one. This is emission tax. Emission tax, everybody uses. I'll come back to this next one more time. Emission tax, the effect of emission tax is the same as cap and trade in theory. But in terms of efficiency, the totally different story. I'll come to that one more time next week. Okay, we have only 25 minutes, and then still we have to cover one full chapter. Public goods. That's a relatively easy story. So no graphs, only one graph. So all stories. So you read carefully, you can understand what he explains. So let's get, as usual, let's get back to class note number. Today's class note, page number 5 here. So near the bottom, I explained everything here. So opportunity cost of pollution control. So why do we have pollution? For nothing or for something? For something, right? As I say, to enjoy material welfare, to enjoy anything, bread, coke, anything. To prepare this, we have to pollute some gases, right? More than that, did you know that, okay, this cute Kyunghwa keeps emitting GHG gas? GHG is greenhouse, what is it? GHG is greenhouse gas. Did you know that this small cute ungun keeps emitting GHG gas? Everybody does that, right? If you want to completely control GHG gas, there is an easy way to do that. Stop breathing. So everything comes with together cost attached, right? Are you ready to stop breathing? To control, to reduce GHG? Is anyone ready to, Hyunyoung, are you ready to stop breathing? To reduce CO2 reduction? To reduce the CO2? So this one. So emission control sounds great, but you have to pay some cost for that. Okay, this one, page 6. We have only 20 minutes. Private solutions, I stopped explaining this. Then market solution, Mankiw explains page 210. These days, the reduction in the honeybee population. Did you know that the number of bees, honeybees, keeps decreasing? It's the big problem in the worldwide. So he explains the case of what is apple grower versus beekeepers. So one solution is that to make the firm into one. Okay, you grow apples all at the same time. You keep bees at the same time. Become one firm. Then there's internalization of. So key point is that I should have referred to the term. To internalize externalities, we say in that way. By charging cost, you can internalize that you pull the cost into the system. We call it to internalize externalities. There's a tax or subsidy system. So this is another way. Beekeepers and apple growers that's what we call integration. No, but diversification. Okay, diversification of. So you two firms to become one, you can maximize the benefit. So this is what I call complementary business. Apple growing, beekeeping, the complementary business, so mutually beneficial to. But finally, public goods and common resources. Okay, if you understand this diagram clearly, middle of page 6, one is excludability, and then the other one is rival in consumption. Rival in consumption means, so, okay, inhaling oxygen is rival or not rival? It's not rival, right? So that's not rival. So your consumption doesn't affect anyone else, your friends. That's non-rival or rival. Okay. Excludability. You can. Is there any way I can exclude poor YG from breathing? It's okay. It's inexcludable. Okay. Likewise, public, like national defense. We enjoy national defense services, right? Is there any way I can expose Owenchang only to non-defense? We cannot do that, right? Safety, security, national defense is we cannot exclude somebody from enjoying the thing, right? So from this category, so the most typical thing discussion is this one, private goods. It's rival, okay, because resources are limited. Limited resources, the flip side of that, we can exclude. Resources are limited. I consume, you have to consume less, right? So as I said, air is not resource, and still is not, air is not resource because YG doubles her consumption of oxygen. It doesn't affect you, does it? It doesn't affect you. So that's. So resources by definition is rival, limited. Supply is limited. Okay, rival, and then excludable. How do I exclude? Exclude Erin from consuming this. If she doesn't have the money, right? I charge some price. So that's charging price is the exclusion. So this one. Is that clear to you? Private goods. Our discussion is, in 90% of our economic discussion is about this private goods. And then the polar opposite, the public goods. Okay, public goods. So national defense is not rival, right? She enjoys, I enjoy, you enjoy, everybody can enjoy the service of, doesn't affect anyone else. That's non-rival, and it's not non-excludable. So we call public goods. Name is there. Okay, and then common resources. is that non-rival but not excludable. The typical example is clean air. Clean air is we call common resources. And then textbook, the popular term in this regard is that tragedy of commons. Commons is 공유지. In the Korean language, 공유지가 bigger. Tragedy of commons. This is commons in 공유지. Okay. Publicly owned lawn field. Lawn field. You can feed your sheep. So there is a lawn commons. Community-owned lawn field on which you can raise sheep. So of course this commons is limited. So to tell the conclusion first, there is a misalignment in incentives. As we understand, people respond to incentives, right? That's main cues principle. You follow incentives. So this is mismatch or misalignment in incentives. Because of this, that's a structural problem here. This is community-owned lawn field. Okay. Grazing field, lawn field. Okay. Community-owned, and then community ownership means maintenance is the community job, not your job. And then individually, you have the right to have let your own ships graze here. Then, okay, so there are 3 households in this community, collectively owned. 3 of you, 재우, 민기, and 상현. You are free, okay, to raise how many sheep is up to you. So, how many sheep would you raise here? This is community owned. As many as you can, right? As many you can, right? As he increases his number of sheep, this will be well maintained and poorly maintained. The condition, okay, improves or worsens. So here, Sang-yeon said that he wanted to increase the number of the lens. The condition of the lawn improves or worsens? Worsens, right? Okay. Then the thing is that it's good proposition, right? The situation is the loan condition. Let's say revenue. Revenue means from raising the sheep. Okay? Revenue. Okay. Loan condition. This goes up the 상현. This goes fall down, right? What is his? So this is clear, right? Okay. In this case, cost, right? Whose benefit is this? His own, right? Whose cost is this? You have to share it, right? Loan is anyway to share it, right? Benefits to you. Cost is to the society. Same story. Mingi, same story. 재우, same story. So, what's the direction of incentives? Increase this one, right? Is there any incentive for him to improve the situation of this one? So, withholding is one way, right? Okay, withholding the increase of number of ships, that's the best way to do that. Would you do that? Yes. Then, in that case, okay, maybe the situation will improve, right? The loan situation will improve, but you withhold increase in the number of ships. You have to pay cost, right? Cost is whose cost is it? Here, cost means foregone opportunity, right? That's what you call. It's clear to you by now that in economics, foregone opportunity is your cost. That's what you call opportunity cost, right? Is that clear? Don't forget that economics, when you say cost, it always means opportunity cost, all inclusive. Foregone opportunities is your cost. So he refrains from increasing number of ships. He has foregone opportunity, right? Whose cost is it? You, right? So the loan improves. Benefit is to whom? To everybody, right? So would you do that? No, you wouldn't do that, right? So incentive is that the situation is that benefit is to me alone. If I increase the number of, if I destroy the loan, benefit is to me, cost is to all. Okay? The other way around. If I refrain from enjoying the benefit, that's my cost, right? In that case, cost is to me, benefit is to everybody, right? What would you do? Would you try to keep this, in good condition, or would you try to utilize the opportunity to the maximum? Second, right? So as everybody does that, what happens? This will be destroyed. Okay? So nobody will benefit eventually. Okay, there's a structural problem here. Okay, you cannot avoid this one if the government doesn't intervene. So the government that intervene is that now I give a cap. You can raise ship, but the maximum, the number of ship here, I assign the quota. That's the only way. And then I give some liability. So instead of that, every other months you have to give fertilizer on there. That I assign some obligation to them. That type of things. Okay? The government, you need. This is what we call treasury of commons. 공유지의 비거. The most typical, most widest global example is GHG gas, global warming. Is that? So if you keep emitting GHG, greenhouse gas, 온실가스 in the Korean language, greenhouse gas. If you emit greenhouse gas, benefit is only to you. Okay, cost is to what? World population. Is that clear? If you refrain from emitting GHG gas, you have to sacrifice production, right? Then what? Cost is to you. Forgotten opportunity, foregone opportunity, and the benefit is to everybody. You wouldn't do that, right? So we need government intervention. This is okay. The last column, top right, is that club goods. Club goods is there. It's natural monopoly is slightly different concept, but fall in this category. But let's talk about natural monopoly. We'll come to that next week or the week after next. Natural monopoly. For today, club goods, golf club. Golf club is that. Okay, club goods is there. Is that excludable? Golf, playing golf. Is that excludable? You have to have membership, right? Excludable. Right? Is it liability? Okay, private golf clubs. It's not a free golf course. Not that busy golf clubs. You can play any time of the day. That doesn't affect you. You play, TJ can play, Seyoung can play, Yunna can play as well. It's free because it's not that busy. Busy golf club is rival. Busy golf club, public golf clubs are rivalry. You play, Yering cannot. As YG plays, YH cannot. Right? That's rivalry. But free. Private clubs, you can play any time of the day. So your play doesn't affect you. But it's excludable, right? Excludable. Because you don't pay, you don't have membership. That's very easy. You cannot play there anymore, right? You cannot play there. Is that clear? So exclusive, that's what we call club goods. So in this regard, I'm going, the very interesting example is that okay, air broadcasting versus cable TV. Air broadcasting, is it excludable? Can I have anyone not to listen to air broadcasting TV? Is there any way? No way. It's not excludable. How about the cable TV? It's excludable, right? Okay, so big difference. So there is a very interesting story. I'll let you know next week. Is anyone familiar with NPR? National Public Radio, American radio system. Has anyone heard of this? NPR? Okay, so now they are now very popular in podcasting. So they have very interesting program. I'll come to this the next week to more specific. Planet Money. So I referred to this once in the 새세기 seminar. 새내기 seminar. That's very interesting. It's okay. Very recent podcast item is that why cable channels are so expensive. Very interesting explanation. So the difference is that air broadcast system is not excludable, but cable TV is excludable, right? That big difference. So in a sense, this was air broadcasting the public good, while cable TV club good. That big difference. I'll let you know the hyperlink to this very interesting story. Let you know next week.
The clean air is the rivalry consumption?
Clean air, it's not, I don't know. Clean air is this one. No. This one, common resources. Clean air is common resources. It's not excludable. By definition, it's not excludable because who owns the clean air, the air? Nobody owns, right? Nobody owns means everybody owns. Did you know that? Nobody owns means everybody owns. Okay, the same story. Yeah? Okay, then we have only 5 minutes. Let's quickly finish all the story. Once again, the stories are all verbal. Verbal, you can read it because Jian, you understand English, right? Yes. So you wouldn't have any problem. Ungan, you too, right? You understand English. So let's quickly finish, wrap this up. Bottom of page 6, non-excludable goods. You can use them for free to have the nature of externalities. Here is for your reference. Actually, by nature, in substance, the concept of externality is the same as public goods. But practice is that something supplied by the government you call public. You attach the name public. But something else concerned with forms and individual we call externality. The nature is exactly the same story. What I say is that, I give community protection services, safeguarding for the community. You live in the same community. I give the service only KH. I have a contract with KH only, but you can enjoy the same story, right? That's externality, right? Between he and Kyunghwa, and even if the contract is between me and Kyunghwa, everybody else can enjoy the benefit of safe environment here. That's it. So if I do that from government, you call public goods. If I do that from a private perspective, you call that's externality, right? So this scientific knowledge is the same story. Basic scientific research, if firms do that, you can enjoy externality, right, for free. If a government does that, that's what you call public good. Nature is actually the same story, but different name. Okay, then page 7, public goods. So this is problem is the free ride problem because it's not excludable. So the thing is that this is a community. If I make a contract, the safeguarding services for this community, I make a contract, she tends to free ride that. Because anyway, that's available, right? She will free ride on, that's what I call 무임승차, because of the tendency. So I cannot hire enough people to do that. There are many ways to make the community even safer, but I wouldn't do that because she doesn't pay enough. They wouldn't pay because Yerin and bad girls, this Mingyang and Yerin would like to free ride the service without paying it, right? That's free rider problem. Because of this free rider problems, public could leave the market alone. Service will not be supplied enough, okay, as much as the community needs. So, example of public goods: national defense and societal security, basic research. So, he got non-patentable knowledge. 특허받을 수 없는 것 in the Korean language. Okay. So, if you can get patent, you can exclude people from the using it, right? So, patentable technology, that's excludable, but non-patentable technology is not excludable. So that's a problem. So Newtonian gravity theory, no way to register at the patent office, right? Same story. The more basic your theory is, more difficult to get the patent for that. Because to get a patent, everything should be specific. Otherwise, okay, then what else do we have right now? Time is almost up. Finally, page, this one, example of public goods is the difficulty in cost-benefit analysis there. Actually, public goods, how much is enough? It's extremely difficult to calculate cost and benefit. Because of this, very often, political motivations. So here, bridges to nowhere. Very often you see bridges to nowhere. Okay, and then hosting Olympic Games is typically much harmful to Korean economy. Korea has hosted numerous sports what we call mega events. Everything, each and every event was harmful to Korean economy, but nobody knows that. Only I know that. So anyway, common resources, tragedy of commons here. Of tragedy of commons is that clean air and clean water. Resources in the ocean. Everybody wants to catch what do we call that's what is it? Tuna. Okay, tuna is very popular in Japan, especially in 참치. Korea, somewhat popular in Western world too. You know, tuna sandwich, right? I hate actually tuna sandwich. Do you like tuna sandwich? I'm sick of tuna sandwich. So anyway, tuna is very popular, right? As more and more people catch tuna, ocean will be endangered, becomes endangered species. Tuna is it? Really? Now, do you know what is that? Not hypo. What is it? Rhino. No, rhino it has become endangered. It's one of the endangered species because everybody chases the horn of rhino. You know, it's very expensive. The bull, what do you call it? Horn, bull, or anything of the rhino. It's very, very expensive. Rhino. So it's endangered species. Then the most global warming here, very, very interesting example is toll road. Toll road can fall in any category. Toll road can fall in any, road system can fall each of the four cells. Toll road, okay, congested toll road is private good, right? And then non-congested toll road is club goods. Why that is? Uncongested toll road is your driving doesn't affect others. Uncongested, okay, definition of. But anyway, you have to pay toll, right? That's club good. And then private good, public good, common resources, everything. That's very interesting example. Road system can fall any of the four cells. That's very interesting example is road system. Okay, any questions? So please be sure to turn in your assignment, load action thing. And in the meantime, have a great weekend.